everyone. Welcome back to the fifth episode of our podcast. Okay, so this episode we're going to be talking about to connect or to disconnect. Basically, the impacts of technology on our modern lives. I'm Hans.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Viv.
I'm Joanne.
Okay, so talking about technology, what do you guys think? Should we disconnect or connect? It's like Shakespeare, like to do or what? Not to do.
To be or not to be?
Wait, I did it wrong.
You
Oh,
said
that's
to
so
do.
shameful.
That's so sad. Okay.
Let's cut that out.
No, we're not. We're keeping going. Okay. Should we connect or disconnect?
Okay, I will tell an anecdote because we haven't had those in a while. Once upon a time, we went to the state library.
I don't think that's funny, Viv.
Why is this so funny? What's wrong with the state library? It was an impromptu state library, and we figured out what it was like in the olden days. We put ourselves back in the shoes of those days, and we looked through all the books. Joanne wasn't there, unfortunately. Everyone else was. And a very interesting thing about that we discovered was that they had basically a manual version of Google Images, where they had like a lot of books, and inside them were like photos. And so like in the olden days when they didn't have Google, if you wanted to like get a photo of something, for example, a pear, then you would have to like look it up on like alphabetically and then find the book that starts with P and then open it up and then find a photo of the pear inside.
Oh, how fascinating. And then like there was one for like all the suburbs in like I don't know,
New South Wales. The state of New South Wales.
the state, because it's the state library. And like what else? Maps.
People's
Maps,
diaries.
People's diaries.
Hans snooped through people's diaries.
Yeah, I was like, imagine in like 200 years your diary's just open to public in the state library.
Like Hans's devotions.
Okay.
It'll be in the state library in like what? 100 years.
Yeah, okay.
Stay tuned. I'm sorry. All right, keep going.
Yeah, the question is, so obviously, like, it's good that we have Google and we can just get our information like straight up. Otherwise, like if you're doing research for a school task, you literally have to go to the library and like sort through all the books. It takes a lot of time. And it's very quick now. We can just search up like answers on Google, and no cheating though. Like don't cheat, but like, and don't plagiarize as well. But you can, okay. Get information quickly, but is that always a good thing with like this sort of new instant culture? As we can get information very, very instantly.
I don't know. I guess it has both negatives and positives. As you've stated before, the positives, like it's quick, it's at the tip of our fingers. We can access like literally anything at the tip of our fingers. But also it can also be like social media can be distracting. Like too much information can also be overwhelming, and I don't know.
I feel like I've had this conversation a lot, but like it's not like you're sticking to either side of the spectrum. Cause like for example, like if you're gonna go like completely olden days, you're not like, of course like it's good to use a physical Bible, but you're not gonna go to church with like scrolls and like stones with like the carvings.
Yeah.
Like it is easier to use a phone, but at the same time it's up to like you and like what wisdom to like see like, should I use my phone or my physical Bible? So it's not just like if I'm gonna go olden days, then I'm gonna go olden days for everything. Like there's like that wise spot in between.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, it's not wrong for us to like connect to all the information, as long as that connection doesn't make us like disconnect from all the things that are more important. Because I think in my school, I see a lot of people being anti-social at lunchtimes. Because our school, like, we're allowed phones during like recess
Really?
and lunch breaks. So I think I see a bunch of people like going on their phones, and like sometimes as well, like my own group, like if no one has something to say, like lots of people would just be like scrolling through their phones, and like in a way, like we still get like our social interaction maybe with other people, but we're like ignoring other people, like people who are actually like right there in front of us.
Okay, wait. I just had this amazing thought.
Oh no.
You know how we like almost scroll through Instagram and stuff when we are bored to get information?
Scrolls.
No, 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 it's not that. Like before Instagram existed, if you wanted to like get random information for leisure, that means you'd be scrolling through the books in the library. So technically, we're all nerds.
Oh, no, that's just
Okay.
nuns.
That's not funny.
Just
I was gonna say something like it was with schools. Yeah, wait. Yeah, my school you're not allowed to use your phones at lunch. That was so anticlimactic. But yeah, we're not allowed to use our schools even though like sometimes we do, but
In class.
in class as well. But yeah,
No, I think like, but it's good to be aware of some of the dangers that come with technology. For example, like when people like, for example, you see now like we take education for granted, being able to learn and to go to school, and like we like do our homework sometimes, like not with full effort. But in the olden days when they had to go to the library to do research, then they would actually value it because it took a long time to like do, so you wouldn't waste it. So that's a danger that we take all this information for granted. And then another danger is like too much information leaves us distracted, so we can't focus on one thing. We're trying to like inform ourselves about what's going on, like with our friends or like the latest news from your phone, what's happening in like pop culture. And at the same time, you've got to worry about like your school assessments, your friend group, your family. Too much connection. Yeah.
if we veer off from being connected or disconnected to information, how about being disconnected or connected to other people, like friends, through social media, texting?
How often do you text your
Oh no. um,
I am his brother and I can testify because he's on
Okay.
his phone basically 24/7.
yeah, well, I do text my friends a lot.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I guess I don't. I would like to say it's a good thing, but maturingly saying, I don't know if that's a word. um, I guess it's not that great of a thing to do, especially when right now we're students. Our primary focus is to learn, is to do what is set in front of us, which is school, and uh, for me, like my lessons, practicing music, uh, other extracurricular curricular things. um, yeah. So
This is a side note. Does being able to text your friends 24/7 diminish the friendship? As in, like you would value more like quality time with that person if you only could meet up like once a week.
I guess. In a way it does, but like I feel like it would be weird if we didn't text our friends. 'Cause like when you text your friends, you have like so many other conversations that you wouldn't necessarily have the time to have when you're like in person with them. And then like you talk about the things you had in the conversations on text, like in person as well, like so that like you basically learn more about them but through texting, not like in person.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's because also like in this generation we live so far apart because of like globalization and like whatever. And our city is like big. We live on the other side of the city, so like in back in the day, they used to like live in the same village, and they were just your friends, so you could just see them every day. Okay, anyway, back to like being distracted and our calling. I think that's a good word to use.
I don't know. Well, I keep saying, if you guys are listening, I keep listening over and over again. Just side thing. I realize that like before I say anything, I always say like I don't know something something something. Anyways, let's keep going. I was going to say.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
I'd love to
know.
know.
I was going to say that At school, oh, not necessarily at school, but studying in general, I feel like I'm being distracted by texting my friends a lot. Um, Not only that, but by social media, not necessarily texting my friends, but by social media, and then getting caught in the, I don't know, how like Instagram or something just like reels you in. Haha, that's funny. But yeah, I feel like I've been wasting a lot of time recently, but I've realized that and it's starting to get better, right, Hans? Yeah.
Okay, so going back, like I think thinking about it in more serious, in a serious, more serious sense, is like when we are called to obey God, right? It's like an obedience that's daily and 24/7. As in, we're meant to obey God, to obey His calling in every single second of our lives. And like sometimes our calling is not so grand or like so big. It's like I have to study now. I have to now eat dinner with my family. I have to wash the dishes. I have to go take the bins out, whatever. Like there's the tasks that we have to do daily. That's our responsibilities and that's part of our callings. And we've got to do them to the best of our abilities, right? And sometimes also like with our calling, it's like also dependent on like time. Like yes, I am called to be a friend to my friends, but right now, like at this moment, my calling is to finish my homework that's due tomorrow, for example, right? And listen to this quote. So I have a quote from Dr. Sahar Yusuf, cognitive neuroscientist from UC Berkeley, okay? Quote, multitasking is a myth. In reality, it's rapidly switching from one task to another and then back again. And every time you make that switch, you pay a tax on both your time and your energy. For that reason, it's almost always more efficient to monotask. Focus on one thing and move on when you're done, so you don't pay unnecessary switching taxes. End quote.
I think that's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, so multitasking like drains us actually. So that also like contradicts if we want to be like obeying God as what 2 Timothy says as like soldiers who is like who don't get entangled in civilian pursuits, but like our aim is to please God in everything that we do, then being distracted by too much information is actually kind of a big deal.
Do you remember a really long time ago we had like a seminar about like digital stuff, like really long
Yeah, I
time
think we
ago?
did. Yeah.
So like they were talking about how like of course it might be that way for like millennials or what came before millennials, but like
Boomers?
Gen
Baby boomers?
well like Gen
No? I
Z
don't know.
like
Yeah.
naturally like people like, do you listen to music when you study?
Occasionally.
But like classical music, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the only music I listen to.
No, because like they were talking about how like just like Gen Z now, like when you're studying, you study while texting your friends, while listening to music, while like doing this and that. But like that's just how Gen Z does it.
Yeah.
But is it more efficient then?
But scientifically, the scientist says
But
it's.
that's one scientist's opinion in science.
Oh, I don't know. Well, this.
Is your opinion against the scientist? What's the cognitive neuroscientist?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, no, I don't want to battle this.
No, but your
I mean,
opinion
yeah.
is valid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Do you
But,
feel like you study really well, even though what you text, even like where you're like, write a sentence on your essay and then you reply to a text?
honestly,
something?
I don't text my friends. Like, I don't do small talk, honestly. But, like, because I have friends that I don't see. Like, I have friends in, like, other states. And then, like, because I have to, like, as a friend, I'm not obliged, but, like, as a friend, I should make time for them. But, like, it's hard to, like draw the line. And sometimes I would prioritize talking to my friends over my homework because they're your friends, right?
Yeah, but like, of course, that's fine. But like, we're talking about doing it at the same time. Like, I think it's way more efficient to like, for example, do your homework first, finish it in like an hour, and then you can talk to your friends for like 2 hours instead of doing them both at the same time and it takes 5 hours to finish your homework.
How about you, Joanne?
Mm, yeah, I think it would be more efficient, obviously, to do things one at a time, like do finish your homework first and then text. But like realistically, I don't think anyone really does that.
In
Do
my,
you?
in my when I was in HSC, I think it kind of depends. Like when I was in HSC, like when I studied, I would like set a time, like an hour, and like actually focus, like put my phone away, and like I'm gonna get this much done now, and then after that I can go take a break, look at my phone for like 5-10 minutes, and then go back and do like another session of study. So like I think that's it sort of works, and um, realistically for me, I don't know. I think going back to uni, I sort of chilled back down a bit, so it hasn't been that intense. But um, yeah, maybe it is something to keep in mind. If like we want to live effectively, then this is a way to cut down wasting our time. You know what I mean?
There's like that studying method, the Pomodoro
Pomodoro,
method, yeah.
yeah.
Well, where you like set a limit on like how long you're studying for, and then you put a timer on, and you don't touch your phone, and like I like using those like blockers that they block like YouTube and like all these other things that you can get distracted by.
Really, every time I use like a blocker, I know how to
You know the
unblock it.
password.
So like, yeah.
True. But then like afterwards you give yourself time to rest. So I guess like it's good if we learn how to do that. So like you focus on school but you also give yourself a break and you can focus on both things fully, not at the same time.
Okay. Another question is, so what is the impacts of all this technology and what we've been talking about, especially on our spiritual lives, and what are the dangers, and I guess how do we fight those?
I guess the biggest one for me is when in the morning there's my phone there next to me and I wake up depending how like I don't know, it depends. Sometimes I wake up at 7, sometimes I wake up earlier, sometimes I don't wake up. But when I have the time, let's say I have an hour before I have to go to school, um, and there's my phone there, and it's such a big temptation to open your phone. And once you do, I get caught in checking all my messages, looking through uh, Instagram, the new posts, or I don't know, random stuff. And it takes away the time that I have to really meditate and uh, read the Bible in the morning. And I feel that's the most obvious part of how this affects me spiritually. But in a bigger scope, I guess having our minds like influenced by all this technology, I feel like it can also affect us and our opinions and views on things. Like, let's say that if the world and the media is showing us this one aspect of like of an opinion, then we can be influenced by it. And if that opinion is against the Bible, we can be influenced by like, by it.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think one of the big things is like we're constantly being fed with like new information. There's like unlimited posts in your feed, and you keep scrolling. Like we're basically filling our minds with all these worldly things and like pop culture and all I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of like political things lately, like being discussed. But yeah, I think it really does have a big impact when like a lot of people are sort of following those things and like you see it on people's stories when they repost things and so yeah, I think it distracts me from I guess God and like his word and we should really be like I think cleansing our minds once in a while from social media especially and like technology in general so that we can fill our minds with godly things.
I think like cause Gen Z teens have like a decreasing attention span, right? And like we expect like instant gratification. Like I guess the easiest example is TikTok. Like the videos are like 1 minute long and then like you keep scrolling, there's no end, right? So like I guess with this mindset, like the instant gratification and like less time span, like when we go read the Bible, like we'll probably just last like I don't know how long, especially if you've like if you're new to Christianity or if you've been in like if you've known the Bible for like so long and you're just like, oh, it's the Bible again. Like you get it's we're limited to, like we're limited. We get bored of it, and then it just feels like rambles and like you know the stories. So yeah, we lose
Yeah,
interest.
I think that's actually like really important. One of the dangers maybe in our culture of Gen Z is like we feed information, um, like it's passive information feeding and instant information feeding. Like like TikTok or Instagram or whatever we look at, like we do that in our leisure time, right? But when we're like reading the Bible, um, we can't do that in leisure time. Like it's active reading and like almost like studying. Like that's the same sort of intensity that we need to actually understand. And like both these things are fighting to influence our worldview. And so like it's so much more easier to just be influenced by the worldview of like the world because like it's so easy, and when we're tired and stuff we can just passively absorb the information from our phones. But like reading the Bible, we need energy to do that. So like even it's still a struggle for me. Like last night, I spent an hour on Instagram because I was
Oh.
tired. That was the excuse, right? Because I was tired, and there's no way like I'm being tired that I can go study my Bible. Like realistically, I can't. So I think I don't know, something maybe we could try is like just like when you're tired, go to sleep because that's what sleep is for. Instead of having that temptation to instead just scroll through your phone for an extra hour, instead just go to sleep early, and then when you wake up in the morning, you can like wake up earlier and then use that time to you're refreshed and you can actually intensively study God's word. Like that's a fight that we need to fight, because if we're influenced more by our technology than by God's word, then like we can't uphold our battle in this spiritual life to live for God and to be set apart and be holy. A bonus point that I had. Would it be okay if we started a culture where like you don't need to expect someone to reply to your text instantly,
Yes.
and it's okay to be left on red? Cause like
No,
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 maybe
no,
not
no,
that.
maybe not that. Yeah,
Left undelivered.
delivered.
left undelivered. Yeah,
Who takes the longest to reply here?
Hans.
Simi.
Yeah. Um. Do I say me? Cause no,
No, it's not Jeremy.
it's not me. I reply instantly. Almost.
Because it depends. Like people expect you to reply instantly, but for example, I'm driving. Like I can't reply to you. It takes an hour to drive somewhere, for example.
Well,
Or I've got
sometimes
to
you're just
study.
not in the mood
Yeah,
to reply. I leave it off.
yeah.
But
My-
like
yeah.
yeah, when you text someone and then you see that online on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're
That's why I turned my online thing off on Instagram. Wait, my dad once said like, when he sees me text, it's like a conversation where he says like, WhatsApp is for like sending information, as in like he'll write one long paragraph, send it, and that's it, right? Instead of having an actual conversation where it's like one person and then the other person,
Yeah.
and it's back and forth.
I mean, it's like sort of true. Like, there's a time for conversation. A conversation doesn't need to occur 24/7 while you're doing other stuff. Like, there's time for conversation. There's time for concentrating on your life that you've got to get on with. So,
Yeah, I think it comes when as you grow older. Like I think adults are like they text when they need to text, and like they need to send something to someone. But like I remember in primary school when we all like got our first phones, it was like
you got your phone
Uh,
in primary school?
Yeah.
no like in year 6.
When did I get in year 8?
I got
year
mine in
9,
year 4.
year 7, year 8?
Year
Because
4?
I had tutoring and I had to like call
What?
my mom.
What phone did you get? Like a Nokia?
Endorsing. No, it was like the first ever Samsung and Google phone that they ever did together.
Was it a smartphone? And you're in year 4. What?
Yeah. 2014. That's not that.
No, one of my friends got their first phone in like year 1.
What?
I'm like confused. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Kind of got off topic.
Yeah.
So don't be offended if we decide not to reply to you at the moment because we're focusing on whatever we're doing.
podcast.
But still message us.
Don't
Yeah.
message us. Don't be scared to message us.
Don't be scared of Hans.
Yeah, don't be scared of me.
Yeah.
Feel free to message me. My DMs are open. Actually, I might not reply to you.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I will reply to you.
All right.
Okay, that wraps up this episode. We'll see you in the next one where we'll have some very juicy conversations. Hint, hint.
Haha.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.